What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bro Tech Gaming Podcast. My name is Carlos. This is the homie Sean, and we are back with another episode. So glad you guys can spend your time with us for the next hour-ish.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, man. How you been, man?
Been
How
good,
was your
man.
week?
Week's been pretty busy. Work's been pretty busy. Off subject. So I was listening to last year's podcast because sometimes I like to go back and listen to our old stuff. And last year we started February of 2024, but we fell off in August again. So we have this habit of falling off in August. So at least we started a little sooner this time. You know, we started in January instead of February. Otherwise my week's been good.
I think that's just when our season ends and we just take a break for the holiday.
We just get like burnt out, you know. Everybody needs a break sometimes. No, man. Week's been good. Just just work, just grinding. Just trying to catch up on bills, catch up on house stuff. You know, the grown-up life.
Yeah, I actually had to call in for jury duty every day of the week.
And but you didn't have to go though, right?
No, I didn't get selected, but I was actually hoping that I did because my work pays for me every day that I go.
Mm-hmm.
So the one time that I wanted to go to jury duty and like take a week off, I kept calling and they were like, "Oh no, call back tomorrow." And then I called last night, and yesterday I was just like, if I have to go to jury duty on Friday on my off day, I'm gonna be so pissed. But they were like, "Oh, like you don't have to go. That completes your jury duty. We'll send you one in like whatever time, you know."
Which one did you go to?
It would have been the Kern County in Mojave.
Oh, so you just showed up to Mojave. So did you actually just have to go to the little like courthouse and just wait?
If they called me, I would have had to go, but I didn't even get that far.
Bro, like I literally like I had to call in every day, and then they called me to tell me I had to go in and actually like show up. And then they had to give me like a pamphlet. I had to fill out like a questionnaire online. And then I sat there for like 4 hours, almost 5 hours, for them to be like, "Okay, we don't need you anymore." Like they were like, it was like getting picked last for like the kickball team, bro. It's just like they kept pulling people in, and I'm just like waiting. I'm sitting there, and she's like, "Hold on, everybody. Like they still might need some of you, so don't leave yet." And we sat there for like another hour for them to tell me to go home.
I swear, like when you're sitting there's like a two-way mirror, and then just people are just judging you on who they want on their jury.
I know they probably are, dude. No, to be honest, like it's all just a social experiment.
Yeah, because I mean they're trying to find people that are gonna most favor their like defendant or whatever it is.
Unbiased. You gotta be unbiased. I think I'd be a terrible juror, bro. I'm so biased. I do not know how to be like neutral about shit. I have an opinion about everything.
Yeah, you're gonna. What was that movie? It was 12 Angry Men, where they're all trying to convince that one guy just to lean their way so they can leave, and he was just like, "Nah, I don't want to." Like,
do you think that'd be me?
Yeah.
Eli is like, no.
Let's start from the beginning. Let's look at the facts.
Bro, that was a great movie though. I've seen like 3 different versions of that because it started out as a play. Classic literature.
I don't think I've seen it. I just seen that like clip is just everybody getting mad at the one guy because he's not having the same decision as them.
It's kind of a claustrophobic movie, dude, because the whole thing takes place just like in that like decision room that they're sitting in, and the camera it doesn't leave. There's nothing else in the movie besides that. So it's like it's one of those movies, classic cinema.
I have to watch it. But you know what I did start watching again was The Last of Us.
Oh, that's funny. That's kind of trending right now. I'm seeing a lot of people pop up on Twitter that are like rewatching it in anticipation for season 2.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing because I've started other shows and I'm just like, I kind of want to watch something a little familiar. And so like every night before I go to bed, I'll watch like an episode. And I got to episode 3 with Frank and Bill. And it was like towards the end, like when it starts getting sad, and I'm just sitting there like, God damn, this shit is freaking sad, man. Like I was almost crying.
It's hella sad. Yeah, actually, it's funny because I did that too over the end of my Christmas break. I didn't have anything to watch. I decided to start binging. I think I got through episode 6. It's it's so much better when you get to actually binge the show. Like, something about having to wait week to week before, I don't think I appreciated it as much because I was always anticipating, like, man, like I hope they do more of this, or I hope they do more of that. But when you actually get to watch it in like full continuation, it actually flows a lot better. It's almost like it was meant to be watched that way.
Yeah, I think a lot of shows are just because of the way that they film it. They film it all like at one time, and so it just flows better when you're able to binge it. Like when I was a kid, I used to think that they would film the episode like the week before it aired.
Oh, like the week of.
Yeah,
Like we're doing it live.
yeah, basically, kind of like Saturday Night Live. Like they kind of do that the week before, and then the next week they show it. So like as a kid, I always thought that that's how TV was.
It might have been that way like back in the day, to be honest. I mean, like when they had the like the live audience stuff, and sitcoms back in the day used to be the money makers for a lot of those shows. Like Friends, if you take Friends for example, like I bet you they shot a lot of those episodes just like boom 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 just to keep up with it, you know?
Yeah, because I was back then when they had like 20, 30 episodes a season. Now
Yeah.
we just get like 10. 10 is like the max.
Yeah, and they just like killed it for a whole season, dude.
Yeah. So speaking of movies, so there's a lot of previews that I've been seeing on YouTube. So one of them was Until Dawn. It popped up on like one of the sponsored videos, and I was like, "Is that a movie?" So I clicked on it and I watched the trailer, and the trailer actually looks pretty good. It's just basically like a cabin in the woods type movie, but they relive the night every day. So if they die, they come back, and then they have to try to figure out a different way of surviving. But the thing is, like they have to survive against a different monster. So it's not like they can be like, oh, like we're gonna do something different and try it. It's just like it's a whole new experience every night. And I don't know. From that trailer, I actually thought it looked pretty good. Like I would give it a watch.
Yeah, I actually agree. Like, cause I didn't honestly know anything about the game. Like, I know the game was really hyped up, but I thought it was really going to be more of like if you've ever played those sort of cinematic decision making kind of games. There was one called Heavy Rain that came out on the PS3. The Detroit Almost Human. The one that like Ellen Page did before Ellen became Elliot Page. Like she was in that video game Beyond. I think it was called Beyond Souls. I thought it was gonna be like that style of game, almost like a Telltale game, but with like that horror element. So I never really played the game, but watching the trailer, it actually looked pretty good, and I kind of appreciate how trailers are just kind of like they used to tell you if it was a red band trailer or like a trailer meant for all audiences, you know? But like now they just release a trailer and it's just like violent and graphic as fuck, and it's like, okay, like some of these deaths be a little crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was because they would have to show them on TV, and just like with the what is it called, like the FCC, they would have
Yeah.
to go through all those hoops and shit. So I'm thinking with YouTube, it's more not regulated, so they're able to show more.
Yeah, it's kind of like a free space. Which actually, that makes me think of another movie, a trailer that dropped. Like we can go back to talking about Until Dawn, but there's another trailer that dropped called The Monkey. Right? Is it or like It Was the Monkey or something like that?
I think it's just Monkey.
I think just Monkey, and it's kind of like that was also a pretty violent ass trailer, which that kind of reminds me of sort of like Final Destination, but it's only when the monkey's around. So if the monkey's around, some fucked up shit's gonna happen. So that looked kind of interesting too. But
I did see that trailer, but I didn't really understand what I was watching. So I guess after watching it like 2 or 3 times, I just kind of like zoned it out on the
Yeah.
first time.
These horror movies are getting kind of like off the hook now, man. They're getting crazy now with some of those trailers. Just keep pushing the envelope. Like how much more like graphic can we make this death? You know?
Yeah, until it gets into like gory, like Hostel and like Saw type stuff.
No, man, I can't do that shit. I don't fuck with those movies.
I do, man. I really like Saw, but I kind of fell off when it started getting up there in the numbers. And it was just it was hard to follow because some time like what do you call it, like they were kind of going on at the same time, so you would have one point of view from one person and then another point of view of another person, and at the time was going on at the same exact time. So at the end of the movie, I have like a breakdown of what was actually going on behind the scenes, and then you're like, oh, like all this shit was going on at the same time. And
Yeah.
then it would just jump back and forth, so it kind of got confusing. Like I watched a couple YouTubes on like the timeline of everything, and then like with the new ones coming out, like I do want to watch them, but it's just taking that time out to catch up and binge on the other ones.
You need to take a calculus class to figure out all those timelines. You need like a astrophysics, quantum physics class. Yeah, I tried binging them. I actually tried binging them, and I think I got stuck at like 5 or 6. It was the one where Rita from Dexter.
Yeah.
It was the one from with Rita from Dexter. I think that was the last one that I watched, and then I just like it was getting too hard, man. It was getting so complicated after that. So I kind of gave up on the Saw movies after that one. The first few were pretty good though. Like when we went to a Hollywood Horror Nights, and then one of the mazes was Saw, and we just went, because we had the what do you call it, like the VIP pass, so we could like get the fast pass to all the lines.
Yeah.
And then we just went, and like I didn't know nothing about Saw, so we went through it. I was like, okay, this is actually kind of interesting. I'm curious what the movies are like. It actually made us go home and want to watch the movies. But then after 5 and 6, it just started getting too crazy, a little too wild for me.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to take a break, like maybe like a week, and then get back into it.
Yeah, and I mean, also at the time, I feel like a lot of movies were following that trend of sort of like torture porn. You had the Hostel movies, you had Human Centipede, like the Walrus movie with fucking Justin Long, like weird as hell. Like they were getting really like visceral, like in people's booty holes. and and I'm
Literally.
like I don't think I like this genre, dude. We need to go back to just regular horror movies.
Yeah, for real. But speaking about Until Dawn, it's like adapted video game movie, so we kind of tread in that category of, like, can they actually make a good movie based on a video game? And I'm really hoping, like I say that with every movie from a video game, I'm really hoping it's gonna be good, and it doesn't. Like Borderlands. Like I didn't watch Borderlands, but I could see thumbnails on YouTube, and they're just like, like the worst movie ever, like why was this made type stuff. And we had covered like we talked about Borderlands coming out, and you said that you wanted to watch it. Did you watch it?
No, I never said I wanted to watch it. I said, fuck no, I'm not gonna watch it.
Oh, okay. I thought you did want to watch it because I thought you played the game.
Well, yeah, I did. I love the games, but I know watching those trailers that it wasn't going to be good. And it's funny you bring that up because I listened to that episode like 2 weeks ago. It was one of the last episodes we did of last year, because we were talking about movies we wanted to watch, and Borderlands got brought up. And I'm pretty sure I was just like, nah, like that shit's going to be terrible. Like, I don't want to watch that. And you're just like, well, yeah, it's got Kevin Hart. Everything with Kevin Hart's terrible. Lo and
It is.
behold, I think it marketed like, dude, I think it only made like 3 million or 4 million or something in the box office. And it was like a $250 million movie or something like that.
Yeah, well, hopefully they get their money back in international showings or something.
Yeah, I think we were getting a little too excited when like you had Last of Us, you have Fallout, the Sonic movies are doing really good. Like you're seeing all these franchises that are just like trending well, that are game adaptations or whatever. And I think we got a little too excited. Like everything after that had just been like absolute horrible after that.
Yeah, speaking about those type of movies, so Captain America is coming out in a couple weeks.
Oh,
So
you're
was it?
already gonna trash Captain America so soon.
No, I'm not gonna trash it, man. Like I hope that it does well and it kind of brings Marvel movies back, to the top to where they were, like in what was it like Endgame, Civil War. I'm really hoping it's good as those movies, but I don't think so, man. Like I really feel like the main actors in those timeline movies, like they really made those movies watchable. And now that you're not gonna have any of those, and you have like Wilson, not Wilson, what's his name, Sam?
Yeah, it's Sam. Isn't it not Sam Wilson
I
or
don't know.
Sam? Well, his name's Sam in the. I mean, the actor's name's Anthony Mackie, but I think it's
Yeah.
Sam Wilson. I think Sam Wilson's the Falcon.
Okay, so whatever his name is, if that's his name. So I mean, he's like the only one that's returning for that movie that I've seen, and he wasn't like a main character in those. He was more of like a side character. So like after him having a show with Bucky, which it wasn't like the best of shows because I don't know. I watched the whole thing, but I didn't really think it was that good. Like, and then him becoming Captain America, like legit Captain America, and now he's gonna be fighting the Red Hulk. So I mean, I'm gonna see it. So I just really hope that it's worth the money.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of like grasping at like threads right now, trying to care about the Marvel Cinematic Universe because I think they're just so desperate for anything to work. I don't think personally we're gonna get anything good until all these phases are over. When we get past all the current phases that are still sort of like trying to grasp on to the previous Avengers movies, like those were peak. And I mean, honestly, you could probably go back and watch Avengers Endgame. If you break it down as a movie alone, it's probably not that great of a movie. There was actually a lot of cheese that was in that movie, but everything that built up to it was just so good. Like they did such a good job creating momentum going into the last Avengers movies. And then they tried to get creative after that with, we're going to do some shows and all the shows are going to tie into the movies. And then we're not really going to focus on movies that much. And they like the shows started becoming really, really bad. Like the shows were getting bad, but the movies were getting worse, like they were putting their eggs in too many baskets. And then they're like, well, like let's pull back from doing so many shows and we'll focus back on the movies. And now they're trying to do like this big like push for, okay, well we're gonna bring back like, Captain America. We're gonna bring back like the Thunderbolts, and oh look, we brought back Tony Stark again. Oop, just kidding, he's a bad guy. And I feel like they're trying to do like so many things to sort of like recapture what made the first phases so good. I just don't think we're ever gonna get there.
That is true. Because I know the first show that came out was WandaVision, and it was super hyped up. Like I was super hyped up to watch it. I watched every episode when it came out, and I remember like the first 3 episodes were very boring, just because if you've watched WandaVision, it pretty much follows the timeline of TV shows, starting from like the 40s or 50s. So it's in black and white. They have like that old school, I think it was the 50s, like it has like that old school like American life where like the husband went to work and the wife stayed home and took care of the house and stuff like that. And so starting from WandaVision like all the way to like Secret Invasion, where Samuel L. Jackson came back, and then they had what's her name, Amelia Clark, come out. And dude, I feel like Amelia Clark is just like she's cursed, man. Like whatever show she gets into, it just like bombs after that.
No, I don't think that's her fault. I mean, Game of Thrones was not her fault. Like the whole series of Game of Thrones was great until up until the end. I think that they're using her as sort of like a draw for people to come watch their shows because of that Marvel desperation. Like now Marvel is trying to get all of these like big name actors to be a part of it when initially when it started, like Like when they cast Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, like Robert Downey Jr. was kind of like in a decline in his career. Like nobody really cared about him anymore, and then he became Iron Man, and that was just like boom, like this is like money, whatever they did. And like now it's like they're just trying to pull all these actors that they can to pull people back to the Marvel universe, and it's just not working. Now you got Harrison Ford, you had Emilia Clarke, and um, I mean, who else, man? I know there's more. There's so much more, but
All red.
Paul Rudd. I mean, Paul Rudd's been in it though, but I've never seen any of the Ant-Man movies.
You've never seen him?
I haven't seen any one of them. I haven't seen Ant-Man's. I still haven't seen the last Guardians movie, which I hear is actually pretty good. But
Yeah, the Guardians 3, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I feel like you're gonna cry when you watch that movie.
don't say that shit.
That movie is so sad, man.
No, bro. I don't want to. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Yeah, because I remember I went to the movies. I went with Karen, and like on those parts where it's sad, dude. Like I'm holding that shit in, dude, and she is just like rivers running down her face, man. It was just sad.
I believe
It was a good movie though. It
I,
was really good.
that might be why I haven't watched it yet. I don't want to be like emotional about it because I've been hating on everything Marvel, and then I watch that and it's like, oh, Marvel's back. But yeah, I'm just I don't know if I'm really excited about any of it. Captain America, like we were kind of talking about it to where they're probably only going to show the Hulk at like the very end of the movie. It'll be like it'll probably be like the last 5 minutes of the movie. And then Thunderbolts is the other movie they're coming up with after that, and like I don't even know if I care about Thunderbolts that much.
Did you ever see that trend where they would start playing that Linkin Park song, and then like when something really exciting is about to start, it would go to like end credits. Yeah, that's how it's gonna be. It's like he's gonna turn into the Red Hulk, and then he's gonna like jump. Yeah. And then like Captain America is gonna be like, you know what, bring it in, and it's just gonna end.
I'm not even trying to hate, man. I'm not being a hater. I just don't like Falcon as Captain America. Like Captain, dude, it has nothing to do with like him having the shield. That's fine. My problem is like when Captain America throws that shield, like he's decapitating motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like he chucks that thing, and it is like a weapon of mass destruction. When Falcon throws the shield, it's like a frisbee. I'm like, it's not the same thing. He does like this this twirly thing, and he throws it, and it just goes like when he throws it. But then when like Captain America throws that shit, it's like an Olympian throwing a fucking discus like 800 meters or some shit, dude. It's just not the same, and it makes me sad because like the shield used to be so cool. Like I wouldn't even care if it was Sam throwing the shield if you just put some oomph into that. It's so weak. I'm like, how are you like doing anything with the shield? Like what's the point of you having the shield?
Yeah, well, I mean, you also got to think about that. Like he had super soldier power, and the Falcon doesn't.
I know. No, absolutely.
So when he throws it and it bounces off stuff and then he catches it again, it should be doing the same amount of damage that it does when he first throws it.
Yeah.
But he's catching it like nothing, so it kind of doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it just feels inconsistent, and I know it's because he doesn't have the serum, which is why I'm disappointed that he's using the shield. It's like I feel like it's being underutilized.
Yeah, they should have just serumed him up.
Yeah, but then he'd be just like everybody. He didn't want to be a super soldier.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's gonna be like that high of an Avenger, like he has to have something, man. Like you can't just have the tech like Tony Stark, because Tony Stark was just he was a genius, but like Falcon's not. It's kind of just a soldier.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I guess we can move on from Marvel stuff. There's not really a whole lot else to say about it right now until the movies come out. Other than like Sony just completely like pull the plug on all of their future Marvel projects. We can talk about that.
Yeah, so they were trying to build a universe. So they had Craven the Hunter, they had Venom, they had what was the like Madam Web,
Madam Web, yeah.
Morbius. Like
Surprisingly, not the worst movies.
yeah, like they were really trying to make a like a universe for it. And I did watch Madam Web, and that movie was so bad, man. Like that trailer for that movie was so misleading because all they show, well, they mostly show them in their costumes using their superpowers, and they don't have that in the whole any time in the movie. It was just like a future, not flashback, but like a future clip of them if there was going to be another movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that I think that's what pissed a lot of people off, and it was just bad, man.
Yeah, but did you see the box office draw for Craven the Hunter?
No, I'm sure it bombed though, right?
It did worse. It did worse than Madam Web, bro. It was really bad. And I wasn't even I was trying to be unbiased because a lot of people that reviewed it were just like, "Oh, like this is like masculine toxicity and it's all just like macho guy stuff and it's violent and it's dumb." And I'm just like, okay, you know what, maybe it's not that bad. Like I don't care if it's like a guy movie, I'll go watch it. And then somebody leaked the fight sequence between Craven and Rhino, because Rhino's like the main bad guy. And dude, that fight sequence was whack, and it was supposed to be the climax of the movie, and it was absolute trash. And people were like commenting underneath it because it was on Twitter, and they're just like, "This isn't real, right? Like, please tell me this isn't actually the movie." And everyone's like, "Yes, this is the movie." I'm like, "Oh my god, this is so horrible." So yeah, I guess after that, Sony was just like, "We're not making these anymore."
I think that's for the better.
I think
Because even though they were making all these movies, they weren't connecting them. You know, not like how Marvel was doing, where, you know, at the end credit scene you would have somebody from a different movie come in and kind of tie it together, but then they would actually be in each other's movies. You know, like Civil War had everybody in there, and you know they had spent years building up storylines, you know, for that. And it was like when it all came together, you know, like we were pretty satisfied with it, you know, like we actually like wanted more from it. But like with these Sony movies, you're just kind of like, why? Like, can y'all stop?
But I mean, that was also like, that's like the Marvel formula, you know. I feel like everybody's trying to emulate that, and it kind of fails. As far as Sony goes, man, I think that they should just stick to, like, if they're gonna do Marvel stuff, do the games. Like, they do a really good job with the games. Like when Spider-Man came out, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, like amazing games. I think Wolverine is going to be an amazing game. Like, stick to that, dude. Like, stick to the games, stick to the tech, stick to your bread and butter, stop making movies. Which, with that being said, like, we could also talk about DC. Did you watch the Superman trailer?
I did. It looks pretty good. I even watched like, what was it, like New Rockstar's breakdowns. And I know it's like a little side note, man, but like I am getting really tired of New Rockstars. I don't know what it is, man, but they like break down the stupidest things now. Hello?
I did not like the trailer, bro. I don't think I'm gonna like the movie. I hate to say it.
But like on what point? Like what was it about it that you didn't like?
I think it felt very like bright and almost cartoony, almost CWE, you know. And maybe I'm just salty because I liked Henry Cavill's Superman. I actually thought Man of Steel was a pretty good movie. A lot of people hated on it because I think a lot of people don't like Zack Snyder, which, I mean, lately, yeah, I can justify that. His last few movies have been kind of stupid, but I thought Man of Steel was great. And I like the dark, gritty, sort of, I don't know, sad, sad universe. This one looked a little, I don't know. I guess it's trying to go back to the heyday of like the Christopher Reeves era of when Superman was like, you know, bright and a symbol of hope and all that stuff. And I get it. Like the dog rescue was kind of throwing me off. I thought it was like a joke, to be honest. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
cute, dude. Cute super dogs. Put them all in there. There's just a lot going on. There's a lot going on in that trailer, and I'm thinking like, damn, they're really gonna try to cram all that shit into one movie, you know?
Yeah, I never followed the comic book, so I didn't even know that he had a dog. So I was kind of surprised too when the dog showed up with the cape.
Mhm.
But I thought it was pretty cool. Like you do see that he bleeds because at the beginning of the trailer, like he's landing in the snow and he creates like a crater and he's just like wheezing because like I guess he's like in pain. And then but like from that, like him wheezing, like he's able to whistle.
Super
I mean
whistle.
like
Yeah, super breath.
yeah, but like if he's in that much pain, like you know, like if somebody like knocked the wind out of you, are you gonna be able to whistle? Like that's the whole point of not being able to like breathe, you know?
It's Superman, bro. He can whistle across the universe.
Well, yeah, I mean, if he can do that, like without like hurting, like why even show him get hurt, you know?
Kryptonite, bro. Because he had to whistle for the fucking dog, Carlos. All right. How else
Anyways,
is he gonna get a dog to come help him in the middle of nowhere?
look at you defending Superman.
I mean, I'll defend Superman. I just don't think the movie's gonna be good. There's some like dorky looking shit. Everybody was making fun of Nathan Fillion's haircut when it showed him as like the Green Lantern and he had like that like bowl cut. Everybody was
Yeah,
trolling him so bad, dude. Like it looked like Stewie from Mad TV. It was so bad. But
yeah. Well, I
we'll
mean, that one comes
see.
out in the summer now. It was like July or June, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the blockbuster movies, they haven't really announced a whole lot coming up. I don't know, dude. Movies in general have just been very disappointing for me. And I think the last good movie we saw was actually Alien Romulus, which is probably one of my favorite movies of last year. I don't know if we talked about it on the last episode, but uh, we did go see Alien Romulus. What, like September,
I think it was
October, something? Was it
August
August?
ish.
Yeah. And I thought it was pretty good. I mean, very nostalgic. Obviously, they were trying to sort of like retread on the same stuff that made like the first Alien movies really good, which was fine. I thought they did a great job. It was probably like the last good movie that I've seen.
Yeah, and it did get greenlit for a sequel, so happy
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Um, and then I saw Gladiator 2 in theaters because I was really excited about Gladiator 2, and I honestly hated that shit. It was just they did not need to make that movie at all. Um, I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of people that said it was really good. A lot of people liked it. I'm just like, damn, did you never see the first Gladiator though? Because like, if you thought that shit was good, like I can't imagine what you'd feel about the original Gladiator then. Because I thought this movie sucked.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I am still excited to watch it. I'm just waiting for a good like HD version to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that they don't have anything yet because I actually bought it on Amazon. I just bought the 4K version, so yeah, I'll let you be the judge. We can talk about it on another episode.
Yeah, for sure. So another trailer that came out is called what was it? Flight Risk.
Oh, Flight Risk with Marky Mark.
Yeah. So the
I don't
first
even
time
know
I
what the hell
watched
that's
that,
about, dude. I don't even know what it's about. It looks dumb.
yeah, so the first time I watched that trailer, he had like a really bad accent and he was just flying a plane and I was just like, and it was kind of like a teaser trailer. And after I watched it, I was like, bro, this shit looks so bad. So then they keep like updating the trailer, so it turns out that he's actually a bad guy and the accent isn't real and like he's bald, which looks so weird.
Really weird.
Like they didn't
Yeah.
need to make him bald and like it just looks so bad.
Well, he's got to mix it up, Like he's been cast in all of these stereotypical roles, so they got to mix up his character a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like I will see it, but I'm not gonna go to the movies to watch it. I'll wait for a like a stream, because I mean, like, how long can they be in the air just fighting each other?
I mean, it's a tiny airplane.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's only gonna be like maybe like 20 minutes worth of the movie is that whole fight scene. It has Topher Grace in there. Like he's supposed to be like a, I don't even know what you would call it. Like he's
Oh,
just like
criminal
a
PA.
somebody that you need to take care of because there's an FBI agent in there like transporting him somewhere,
Yeah,
and somehow Mark Wahlberg got on the plane to fly them,
yeah,
which looks like it's like somebody's personal plane that's in their backyard to like dust crops and stuff like that.
yeah. I don't know, man. I try not to pay attention too much to all the new movies that are coming out because I feel like I just get disappointed. I've been watching mostly like shows now. I care more about like the upcoming shows than like certain movies. Like when I saw that Mark Wahlberg movie, I straight up thought that was like a straight to streaming movie. Like I thought it was like a Paramount Plus movie or an Apple TV movie. I'm like, there's like no way that shit's in theaters. They're putting this shit in theaters. like,
Yeah,
like
maybe he
it
didn't
just
allow
sucks,
it.
man. Movies, it's not worth going to the movies anymore.
Yeah, it probably would have hurt his ego if they streamed that.
I mean, that's kind of all he's been coming out with lately, though. Like straight to streaming or whatever you want to call it now. I don't remember the last theatrical movie that Mark Wahlberg did.
Yeah, me either.
Probably
Been a while.
Transformers. Probably the last Transformers movie.
Transformers killed his career.
No, dude. Okay. What any other movies that you want to bring up?
Not that I can think of. Oh, okay, so there's another Valentine's movie. It's called Hard Eyes.
I kind of saw that one.
So I've only seen the trailer once, but I know it's like a horror slasher. Maybe not even horror, just like a straight up slasher. But they marketed it as like a Valentine's movie. So I think it's kind of funny that they allow like people to like kind of like troll their significant other to go to the movies and be like, oh, we're gonna go watch like a romantic movie. It's called Hard Eyes. And then you go in there and then you're just watching like people get like chopped up and shit. Like it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a little bit of stuff about that movie. It's kind of crazy, dude. There's a lot of horror movies that are out right now, and it's like we're not even in the season. Usually, it's during like spooky season, but we're getting like a lot of like horror stuff out now, like super early, around like different holidays. Especially now that like all the trademarks or licensing is expired on a lot of Disney stuff. So have you been seeing like all the horror like Peter Pan, Steamboat Willie, Mickey Mouse, all that stuff?
So it won't be Mickey Mouse, but like Winnie the Pooh
Yeah,
had a movie.
Winnie the Pooh's had a few already. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just funny because people were reacting to it, and he's like a serial killer, like slasher dude, and it's like so funny like seeing somebody in costume as Winnie the Pooh like going around killing people.
Yeah. But that's sort of like the new like what was it called, like grindhouse movies. They didn't have to be like good, but I've been seeing a lot of those pop up. Saw the new trailer for the Snow White movie, which looks terrible, bro. She's not pretty, bro. Like,
yeah, we talked about this. Oh no, I don't think we talked about this. I had used the
you might have
clip
talked
at
about
first.
Karen or somebody.
Yeah, well, I had watched the video on YouTube with Karen talking about how she's just ruining that movie, and like how Gal Gadot is just like standing next to her like,
Dude,
shut the fuck up.
like Gal Gadot is just like, who's the fairest? Like, bitch, you're the fairest. You're Gal motherfucking Gadot. And this other girl doesn't even look, I don't know, dude. I'm not saying she's ugly, but like, you can't be like, you're the fairest standing next to Gal Gadot. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all, dude. What are they doing?
Yeah, they kind of just killed that movie. Like, it's already gonna be like it's already been downvoted on YouTube so much. When it comes out, it's just gonna bomb. Like, people are just like ready and waiting to hate on that movie. Like, bad reviews. It's probably gonna get like review bombed.
Yeah. Honestly, dude, like Disney has been sort of like dropping the ball on everything lately. Like, I haven't really been interested in any Star Wars projects anymore. All their Disney like remakes, I don't even know if you want to call it remakes, but they're live action ones. Like, I'm just over it at this point. Like, Michelle really wants to see the Lion King Mufasa movie, And I'm just like, but like, why? Like, why are they gonna take Scar and try to make you like feel something for Scar because he used to be like a good guy at the beginning? Like, he's not Darth Vader, you know? Like, Scar straight up murdered Mufasa in The Lion King. Like, how are you gonna make a movie be like, oh, but he was just misunderstood? Like, no, fuck that shit, bro. Like, he killed Mufasa, you know? So I don't
Yeah,
know, dude. I don't know how I feel about that either, but
that is true. I think they're just grasping at straws right now because they need to make more movies, but they don't want to make original stuff because they need something that's tied to people, like nostalgia. You know, like we grew up watching Lion King, like we could probably like quote all the lines to it. So I think it's more for us, you know, like if we had kids and be like, oh, you know, like I used to watch this as a kid and now it's live action. So, you know. But but yeah, I didn't even see the first one.
yeah, I mean the first one, that was the one with Donald Glover as Simba, and then Beyonce as Nala, right? I actually did watch that one, and I was kind of disappointed in it. It's not like it was bad. Like, it was literally The Lion King. Like, they didn't do anything different with that movie at all. It was literally the exact same movie, which I guess you could argue that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it depends on the audience, but it didn't feel. It felt kind of lifeless for a movie that was like live action. It felt very lifeless. Like, even when they got like James Earl Jones to voice Mufasa, R.I.P. Like, I was waiting for like those classic lines to be delivered, and it didn't hit home. You know what I mean? It just didn't feel the same. So I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, I think the problem that they had with the first one was they weren't able to animate emotions through the CGI because then it would look weird because it's supposed to be, you know, like live action, but you're gonna have like these characters making faces and like emotions and stuff. So it was kind of just them just, you know, moving their mouth and having emotion but not showing emotion. So
Yeah.
that's what I seen.
All right, so we've been talking for a while. Let's go over one more subject. So, tech news. Nvidia just announced their new 5090 series cards. Got some benchmarks out there, retailing at $2,000. I've seen posts for what their aftermarket cards are going for. You know, like the MSI cards and like the Asus cards. We're looking at like $3,000, $3,500. Um,
That's
Somebody actually
crazy.
leaked prices for the 5080, and they're looking at like $1,500, $1,600 for the 5080s. So I don't know, man. Like, I want a new card, bro, but I ain't trying to empty out my bank account. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is true. And a lot of the reviews I've seen on it is like they're kind of saying it's not worth it because the frames that they're generating is more like fake frames,
Mm,
and the performance to price is not good when you don't have, you know, like the RTX on or like DLSS on.
yeah.
It's just like, what is it, like a 10 to 15% improvement from
So
the last gen?
for the 5090 specifically, the 5090 is roughly about like 25 to 30 in most of the reviews that I saw. 30, which is dumb because you're getting 30% more performance for 30% more cost. So it's like, okay, like they could do that with any card. Basically, you want more, you just pay for more. I think people were disappointed in just how much it is because you're not getting any value out of it. Granted, we're talking about the 5090. You know, you're not getting value out of the 5090 because you're buying the fastest card, like hands down. So Nvidia doesn't care that it's not priced like to the performance. Um, I'm kind of more disappointed in the pricing of the 5080 because that was going to be really more along the lines of what I'm looking for in like high end. But I'm like, bro, not for like 1600, not for 1700. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is. Like I paid 1,200 for mine. I have the 4080 gigabyte Arrow, like the white one, and I think the only reason I got that was because I got a bonus at work. It was like in the like the 2000s, so I was just like, kind of like free money. Might as well, spend more than or like half of it on just a graphics card.
Yeah.
But if I had to, put it on a credit card or something, I wouldn't have.
Yeah. I mean, anything more than $1,000 is kind of like crazy, man. Because um, I know my card's a little older, but at the same time, it's not that old. I was just kind of hoping for something that was more like within my budget. They would really give me a nice boost in performance. The reviews I'm seeing right now, it's not really like impressing me that much. And all the cards, well, I mean, not the cards, but like all the games that they're showcasing is just, it's strictly for the sake of like, well, let's turn on ray tracing, let's turn on path tracing. Like, look how many like details you can add to the game. But don't forget to turn on like the frame generation and all that shit too. And I don't know, man. I'm not really excited about this generation of cards. I'm sure AI is going to do great though.
Yeah, you have to also worry about scalpers. Because I know the reference cards, even though like the 4080 is gonna be $1,000, like you're never gonna see it at that price. Scalpers are gonna get it. It's gonna go up a couple $100,
More,
and
more than a couple hundred, bro.
well, maybe double the price. So
I
y- y-
seen somebody already. There, people are already listing their scalper prices, uh, like early, and they're saying like $5,000. Somebody's got it like $5,000 for 5090, and it's just like no returns.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the lower end of the pack looks like with these new cards. But the 5080 reviews, they don't go up until I think the 30th. My coworker Jose said the 30th is when they're supposed to drop those, but they're dropping the reviews the same day that they're actually like releasing the card. So it's kind of weird. It's just like they're not gonna give people time to formulate an opinion because they don't want people to know that the 5080 is gonna be like shit in a upgrade compared to like the 4080. I would be surprised if it wasn't like a 15% difference, man, to be honest. Like that's crazy. You might be sitting on your 4080 for a while, bro.
I think so too. I mean,
You know.
it's still good, man. I still like the encoder. It like it renders our podcast because they're usually like around an hour, and the render time is like 14 to like 20 minutes for like the whole video, and it's pretty good. And the quality is pretty good too. So
Yeah.
I might be with it for a couple more years at
Yeah.
least.
I think the only thing that you're missing out on is just the like the DLSS 4, which gives you like that like 4x frame generation. Which at that point I think is kind of unnecessary. I mean, if you're already playing a game at like 140 FPS, like do you need it to emulate 300? Like is that going to matter to you when in my opinion like a 140 is already pretty smooth for the games we play and it feels really smooth. I don't see how that matters in my opinion. Like I care more about on the low end. I really thought they were using that technology, like the frame gen and the upscaling, to keep like older cards relevant. You know, like if I have a card from like 5 years ago that's like having a hard time keeping up with modern games, I turn on those features. I was like, hey, like I just made my card relevant for another couple generations. But now it's like they're using that technology to leverage the high end cards because the games are getting like way too advanced for even like the high end cards. Because I saw somebody do a benchmark on the 5090. They're playing Cyberpunk, 4K Ultra with like all the ray tracing and shit on, but they didn't have the DLSS and the frame gen, and it was only getting like 34 frames per second. The 5090, $2,000 card. I mean, granted, it's at 4K and it's ray tracing, but that's kind of what you're buying it for. it was still only doing 34 frames per second. You gotta turn on all the cheat codes to get higher frames.
Yeah, so I think if you're not trying to, if you're trying to spend the money for it, like if you have the extra money, like it's probably not going to mean anything to you. Like you kind of just want the best. But I mean, if you're really trying to get quality, like performance out of it, it's probably just going to be just start looking into the 40 series.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's sad though because like I don't really want the 40 series unless I'm getting a 4090. I was kind of hoping the 50 series was going to sort of like help leverage that a little bit. Like even if I was to get like a 5070, like let's say a 5070 performed around or a little bit better than like the 4080 like yours, I thought that would have made more sense. Like back in the day, those were sort of like back in the day. It was like 2 years ago. Um, those were sort of like the generational leaps that you expected from all the new cards. It's like you could go like one tier down from the new generation, and that would be like just as good, if not better, than like the previous generation. You know, and you were getting like the same value for that at the same time. Like I'm paying less but getting the same as like last time. Like now it's just like no, we're just gonna keep pumping more money, pump more money. It's like the whole Apple thing, like I was saying, you know, it's like same thing, more money.
Oh, like for the phones.
Yeah, for the phones, you know. Everyone's following the trend. Anyways, that's kind of all I have to say right now about the Nvidia cards. A lot more cards to review pretty soon. AMD's cards will drop in March. We'll see at least another couple cards of the lineup from Nvidia. I think in February. You're gonna announce the other cards too, so we'll see if it's worth it, man. I need to upgrade, but I'm not that desperate yet, if that's the case.
Yeah, so I mean, there's no like what games are you actually playing, like like campaign story modes that you would want to see like higher resolution, higher frame rate that would make it just a better experience?
I think that's the hard part too, man, is I get so caught up in looking all of the enthusiast like settings on all of like the reviews on YouTube. If I turn things down to like medium and just played and not thought about it, the games would still look good. You know, I'm getting the same experience as if I would have been playing at a higher setting. I think there's a level of diminishing returns when you start ramping up the settings to like really, really high. It's like, do you even notice the settings that you're changing? So yeah, I mean, to your point, if I was running games on a lower setting today, games still look pretty good. Like low today is not the same as it was like 5 years ago. So I think I get a little bit too caught up in the performance because I'm the tech nerd. But realistically, I could probably play lower and still have a good experience.
So if you guys are following on the socials, I did create an Instagram just for this page. So if you guys want to get updates and, you know, pictures and videos, it's going to be in the link in the description below. There's going to be a link to it. It's already set up. Just click on it and, you know, just be our friend.
Like, follow, be our friend, comment, or don't.
Yeah, it's
up to you.
all up to you.
All the
All right.
socials.
Yeah, so one more thing, we do have football this weekend. Playoffs are in full effect. We have like what, 6 teams left, 4 teams left?
4, bro. This is
4.
the NFC and AFC championship games this weekend.
Yeah, okay, so whoever,
Tell me your picks, Carlos. Give me your Super Bowl picks right now, off the dome.
I'm gonna go with the Bills and Commanders.
That's the same. I think that's the Super Bowl everyone wants. So I'm going for the Bills. I'm thinking Bills Commanders too. Obviously don't want the Chiefs, and I don't really like the Eagles either. They knocked out my Packers. How am I going to cheer for them?
Yeah, so kind of hoping the Bills take it all.
Yeah, let's see. We'll see what happens this weekend. We'll give you all updates next week on our picks. Were we right? Were we wrong?
Only time will
anything
tell.
about sports. Only time will tell.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. So if you want to take us out.
Yeah. So thanks, guys and gals, for listening to our BroTech Gaming podcast episode. As Carlos said, please follow us on all of our socials. You know, Instagram, Twitter. I think TikTok. I think. Do you have a follow Carlos on TikTok? I think
Yeah,
Carlos
I
has a
don't.
TikTok.
Yeah, I have one, but I don't post much on there. Like nothing related to the podcast. I just retweet like funny stuff on there.
Okay, well, just click on the links in the description below, and we'll catch y'all on the next episode. Peace out.